Welcome back. UND football is back in Grand Forks this weekend for homecoming as the Fighting Hawks look to get back on the winning track Saturday against Northern Colorado. Now, despite a recent poor run of results, Bubba Schweigert feels his team has done their best to stay positive.
We talk about our body language and our attitude a lot because we can control those things, and it's difficult in these situations. But I really felt our team on Saturday night did a good job of really hanging together and playing hard and building off some positive things that happened in the game. But obviously, when you don't have enough of those positive things to build off, it becomes more and more difficult. But we're going to challenge our guys to stick with it, stay together, and stay committed. You know, the scoreboard dictates how you feel. We're in the result business, and we just really need to have a positive result so we can feel better about ourselves. But to do that, you really got to stay in the moment and focus on your preparation.
Well, for more on the Fighting Hawks matchup against the Bears tomorrow, we welcome in Alex Heinert from our Grand Forks studio. And Alex, at 1-4, UND's reeling a bit right now, with injuries playing a huge part in their last 3 defeats. Has anyone been cleared for this weekend? Has anyone new turned up on that injury report?
Well, in a rare bit of good injury news, Kelly, redshirt freshman inside linebacker Cam Hunt should be ready to go this weekend after being out since the spring with a hip injury. Now, Hunt's not going to single-handedly change the fortunes of this defense on the interior. Remember, he's not played a down of college football yet, but he was the team's defensive scout of the year last year, and he'll at least bring a little more athleticism and a little more range to an interior linebacking core that has been absolutely ravaged by injuries this season. So Hunt's return couldn't come at a better time because it's likely leading tackler Jake Distrop is going to be out on Saturday with a foot issue he suffered against UC Davis. So that's going to mean converted running back Oscar Neverman and redshirt freshman Jake Rostis are going to get the start in the middle, 2 guys who were probably 6th and 7th on the depth chart this spring.
Okay, so a little bright spot, but you kind of put it in perspective there. But with UND in their current state, how do they match up against a Northern Colorado team they've beaten for 4 years in a row?
Yeah, in their current state is the right way to phrase it, I think. I mean, UND is probably 3-2 or 4-1 if they're at full strength all season, and I think they would probably shrug off this UNC team this weekend without too much trouble. But this isn't the same UND team that rolled through the Big Sky last year, and the Bears are going to pose some problems on Saturday. They've got good speed and some legit playmakers on the edges, especially leading receiver Alex Wesley. He's averaging just under 100 yards receiving per game. He's also the conference's reigning outdoor 400-meter champion, and we saw how much trouble North Dakota's secondary had against speedster Keelan Doss of Davis last week. Now, Bears quarterback Jacob Niv is accurate. He's got a big arm too, but the guys in front of him are young. They're going to start 3 true freshmen on the offensive line, and they've not shown the ability to stop anybody this year on defense. I think UND's front 3, which is really the only unit that's not too banged up, should be able to get into the backfield, and I like the Fighting Hawks' chances of moving the football. They just have to finish drives this week, and that's something they've struggled at this season. If they can do that, though, I like their chances.
All right, 3 true freshmen on the offensive line. Wow. Anyways, thank you, Alex. Kickoff for UND-UNC is set for 2:30 p.m. tomorrow. You can watch that right here on Midco SN. And to our other FCS team in North Dakota, NDSU is currently riding an FCS best 10-game road winning streak. Tomorrow, the Bison will try to extend that to 11, but they'll have to do it against one of their own. Brian Shawn has more.
All right, Kelly, thank you. North Dakota State on the road in Terre Haute, Indiana for its second conference game of the season. One guy we're used to seeing in green and gold, now wearing Sycamore colors as an assistant coach at Indiana State, Grant Olson. Grant, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Is it strange a feeling to know that you'll be on the opposing sideline of your alma mater on Saturday?
I think it might be a little bit, you know, but I'm enough removed from it now where I've got enough experience going, I think, to different stadiums and playing different teams that I think I'll be okay. It'll probably be a little bit weird, but, you know, at the same time, it's just another game, so.
I'm guessing there's some other people on the opposing sideline you're looking forward to seeing, though, right?
Yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the coaches, especially that I got to work with when I was a student assistant for a year. You know, obviously Coach Kleiman, I played for him. Looking forward to just saying hello and hope he's doing good. Brian Shepard, I play with him. He's still a former teammate of mine and a really good friend. So looking forward to seeing a fair amount of guys there.
Well, it's going to be weird to see on our end, too. Coming to a place like Indiana State with Kurt Mallory, who you worked with at Wyoming under Craig Bohl. Exciting to get back in the Valley, I'm sure. How did you know this was the right situation for you?
Well, for me, I know it was one of those things that Coach Bull and I spent a fair amount of time talking about just as I was getting a little bit older, as being a graduate assistant, some of those things, and just kind of picking his brain on what type of jobs are the ones you want to go for and what you want to look for and looking for a first job and on and on. And just a lot of the things that I know about Coach Mallory in terms of the way he conducts himself, the way he handles his business, just how awesome of a guy he is. When he got this job and he called me and asked if I was interested, I just couldn't say yes fast enough. I was really excited to go and work with him and to get back in the Valley. I knew it was a great conference, and I was excited to get in here and compete.
Okay, now not a lot of teams run a system like NDSU. How much does your knowledge of their system, both offensively and defensively, help with prep this week?
Well, I think it helps for a couple of reasons. One, just knowing whether it's how they coach things or what they're looking for, what a personnel's keys might be. So I think just making sure that the scout team look is accurate, I think that's the biggest thing. And then two, just being able to help a coach, and the coach may be looking at, shoot, what's this defense running here? What's this offense running here? What are they looking at? Like, oh, maybe they're reading this guy, or I think this is what they're doing. So just trying to help guys understand how people are going to attack us and what they may be looking for that's going to be successful for them. So just try to be prepared and help out, whether it be our starting quarterback or our starting Mike linebacker or our special teams coordinator, just trying to help those guys out and make sure they're prepared for Saturday.
Now, you were a pretty loud and talkative guy on the field as a player. I'm guessing coaching came pretty naturally for you. How have you had to change, if at all?
Well, I don't think I've changed in terms of being a guy that tries to bring energy and have fun at practice. That's just who I am, and I'm not going to change in that aspect. I think it's more now of trying to make sure that other people know what's going on and making sure that they're communicating. On the sideline, I'm not going to be the one out there getting guys in the right formations and checks and calls and all those things. So it's my job to make sure somebody else can do it, which is much more of a mental challenge. So learning to communicate with guys and to explain things in a way that everybody can understand to make sure that the linebackers on the team can go out and execute, that's the challenge. And it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely not easy all the time, but that's where I think the biggest difference comes into play, of getting somebody else to do what I was once in charge of doing.
Now, most important question I have for you, is the golf game better or worse now that you're married to a professional golfer?
It's a little bit better. It's definitely a little bit better. A lot of people have asked, and I tell them, the equipment that I use has certainly gotten a lot better. I got a pretty nice set of irons right now, which I'm pretty thrilled about. Really good putter. So I don't know how much it's helped, though. Maybe a little. We'll see. We'll see. But I did beat her in a long drive competition the other day, so I was pretty fired up about that. But when we played a couple holes, I got smoked. It wasn't even close. So.
Well, congrats to you and Amy on your marriage, Grant. You got married on a Tuesday or something, right?
Yes, on a Tuesday. It was the only day that worked for us. She had golf on the weekends, and I had football camps and stuff to get to, so we said do it on a Tuesday, and a few people were able to show up, and it was great.
Well, all right. Thank you for the time, man. Good catching up. See you Saturday. Kelly, back to you.
All right, thanks, guys. It's an early kickoff in Terre Haute at noon Central Time. The Sycamores are still searching for their first win of the season. Coming up after the break, a former SDSU quarterback who's still spending time on the field, just in a different role. And later, a preview of our live high school game of the week for tonight, Valley City at Fargo-Shanley. This is Midco Sports Tonight.
Midco Sports Tonight, presented by Avera Orthopedics.